Jared Polin, FroKnowsPhoto.com, here with another AdoramaPix.com rapid fire critique. I've got Liam here from the UK. What is going on?
Not much, Jared. Just looking for a bit of advice.
Advice and the harshness level on a scale of 1 to 10?
10.
You sure?
I'm positive, yeah.
All right, give me some background. What are you shooting with?
At the moment, just an old beginner's Sony DSLR. I have a 18 to 35 and a Tamron 70 to 300.
Okay.
But I'm looking to upgrade to a Nikon D300S soon enough.
All right, no, it doesn't matter what you're shooting with. Always remember that. It's what you capture. And all right, so we're going to dive into this. As Ari tries to call me, I'll ignore Ari and we'll get back to him later. So, this first image you see, how much vignetting did you add to this?
Well, at this time I had iPhoto, so it was about the grade 2. So it wasn't much.
You did it out of iPhoto?
Yeah, that's this one, yeah.
Well, it's interesting. I like the sharpness of the stump, I guess, the ground in the front. I mean, the vignetting's a little strong for me.
All right.
What was your focus? Not where were you focusing, but what were you going for? Were you going for more of the waterfall, or were you going for more of the wood?
I was going for more of the wood and then the waterfall just being in the background.
All right. Did you try any vertical?
No, not really. Not with this one anyway. I've got some vertical ones in my like portfolio of just the waterfall, but not just with the log as well there.
All right. I mean, I like the log. It's nice and colorful. It's sharp. I think you did a very nice job with your editing. I'm not going to rip too much because the only thing I don't like is the vignetting. I think it's a little heavy-handed on the vignetting. But other than that,
all right.
If you're going for more of the log, then maybe on a lower angle trying to blow out the waterfall in the background.
Yeah.
It looks like you did a long exposure on a tripod, right?
Yeah, it was about, well, it was 2 or 3 seconds long, the exposure.
All right. It's not bad. Maybe moving in tighter on the log as a secondary shot just to get different angles, and then with the water blown out in the background, that could be something interesting.
Okay, yeah.
All right, let's see what we got here. Old man, what's with the crop?
Well, I like there wasn't much a crop much anyway, really, but I just like the tightness of just having him in his uniform there as well.
Okay, yeah, I mean, again, with photography and art, whatever, just because I don't crop doesn't mean that people shouldn't crop. I like what you did here. It obviously I love contrast.
Yeah.
The contrast is thick, the sharpness is right on. Looks like you got it right on his eye perfectly, but it's a thick image, and I love the thick image. He's like what is he? What kind of uniform is that?
Well, I was at a medieval reenactment in my local museum.
Okay.
And he was one of the main guys there, so we had a few photos of him there.
All right, I like the processing. I'm not a huge fan of the crop. I would like to maybe see the rest, but maybe the background just didn't work for this. But yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Again, it's sharp as anything. It's nicely. The editing is really, really good.
Oh, thanks.
I like that. Plus, I like his hat. It's kind of like the Klondike. It almost looks like an 1870s style gold digger. Literally a gold digger. A miner. Not a good gold digger, but a miner. So I like that. The next one, first things first, this just doesn't do it for me.
No, fair enough.
Yeah, what were you going for?
Just this nice silhouette. I was on a holiday at the time, and we were just sitting having a barbecue, and the sun was setting, so I just thought I'd hop over a wall and try and get this.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Go ahead.
It's not the best I've done, but it's nice.
All right. Yeah, I mean, if you like it, you like it. It just doesn't do anything. Nature-type shots aren't always my thing, but to me, it's just kind of not very interesting.
Fair enough. That's fair enough, actually.
Yeah. Okay, model. Who's the model?
I was at a workshop, and she was the model that the guy had brought in for the workshop.
Nice makeup, right?
Pardon?
Nice makeup she's got on.
Yeah, it was a good 2 hours worth of makeup she was having.
I gotta decline these guys calling. All right. First things first. I am not a fan of turning the camera on an odd angle.
All right. That's interesting, actually, because the guy that was the photographer there, he was advising people to go on angles.
Oh, God. I will rip on that. The reason I don't advise angles is because if your image isn't capable of standing up on its own in a regular, straight up or straight on a nice regular horizontal, then by turning the camera, you're just turning the camera. I mean, look, I've seen it in wedding shots where the bride is on. The bride's shorter than the groom, so they want to put them on the same level. So they turn the camera on a cockeyed angle. Now they're even, but when you look at the background, it's running downhill just like this. Yeah. So that's my thing. Is I am a non-angle. Like if the picture isn't strong enough to stand up on its own, turning the camera sideways isn't going to do it any better.
Yeah, fair enough.
And then in your processing, it's what is that? A little green? Has a little green tinge to it.
I'm not sure if that was just the background or not, but it does seem to have a bit of a green tinge on there.
Yeah. So and then probably a little yellow too. Maybe it would pop in black and white, but yeah, I would just definitely not on odd angles like that. Other than that, there's not much else to say because I'm sure they did the lighting for you. But yeah, those angles. Just remember that if it can't stand up on its own and you need to turn the camera on a weird angle, it's probably not going to be a good picture.
Okay. Yeah.
Bird in flight?
Yeah, it's a heron.
A heron?
Yeah.
More vignetting?
No, actually, have you ever used Aperture?
No, I've never used it.
I used an effect on there called the toy camera. That's the one.
Toy camera. Was it not good enough on its own, or?
Well, it was a bit. The background was a bit light, and I thought, so I tried that out, and it kind of darkened things down a bit.
Okay. Yeah. The bird's nice. I mean, you're probably using the 70 to 300.
Yeah, I was at this point.
Autofocusing or
autofocus. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's a nice capture with what you have. I would like to see more of the background actually a little brighter. Maybe not this dark and probably not as bright as you thought it should be at the beginning. I mean, bird photography is difficult, so you caught a nice moment here. I would like to see the background a little brighter.
Okay. Yeah.
Because I just think it's too dark all around and. Yeah, it just seems a little too dark.
Okay, yeah.
What am I looking at?
These are some wild garlic, I believe.
Wild garlic?
And I was I was walking, it was the same day I'd been with the heron, and I was just walking along, and I saw this, and I thought, the angle it was on, it looked pretty cool, so I just thought that. And I vignetted it slightly and then put a blur on the ground, apart from the main area.
Oh, you put a blur. All right, I was going to say I like the out of focus area if it was created naturally.
No, I'm afraid it wasn't.
All right, well, you'll get there. I mean, at least you're thinking about the image and seeing, after what you could do, which means when you get those lenses that allow you to do that, then it'll probably then you're a step ahead. It's an interesting image. It's pretty like The Hobbit in my mind. It's like, it's like it's kind of fairy tale-esque.
Yeah.
But other than that, not much to say about it growing. It's not much else to really say.
No,
exposure-wise, it's hard to tell. I mean, with the vignetting and stuff, I think over time, as you keep growing, you'll see that you don't have to rely on the extra add-ons.
Yeah.
You want your images to, at least I would like my images to stand up as much as possible with their own merit, more so than adding the vignetting and the adding spice. I want the picture to pop. I want people to know it's mine when they see it.
Yeah.
I like this. I like the light on the guy's face.
That's my brother, actually, just to say.
Oh, nice. Yeah, it's a soft color. Obviously coming from, is that the fire?
Yeah, it was coming from the fire. We were at a wedding, and it was, those wish lanterns.
Yes.
So he had that, and I just turned around, and I was quite lucky, and I took the picture, and that was about it. He was wearing a black shirt as well, so that kind of helped.
No, I like it. I think it works much. You can see that he just released it from the one hand. It's nice and sharp. How'd you get your exposure on this?
It was shot, I know you'll hate this, but it was shot in JPEG, actually, this one. And I think it was just 1/25th. And that was just long enough so it was a bit lighter, and then I've played around a bit on Aperture.
Okay, were you doing manual exposure or Aperture priority?
Manual exposure.
All right, so you did a nice job getting that. I mean, it's a nice image. You can get past the raw JPEG thing. Probably to shoot raw at this point, but
yeah, I shoot raw at this point now. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's fine. Yeah, I like the moment that you captured because you're showing what he's doing. He's just releasing it. You got your exposure in a quick second. You got it right, and you played with the Well, you played with the JPEG. You'll probably enjoy playing with the RAW file even more. It's a tough one because of the light. There's not a lot of light on her.
Yeah.
So how were you metering? Were you metering for the window light or what?
It was for the window light mainly, yeah.
Yeah, because here you would have to totally override that and then try to expose for what was in the room, which usually leads to bumping the ISO up a little higher and dropping your shutter speed to let in more light to get her in the picture.
Yeah, I mean, I've just started using ISOs a lot nowadays. Ever since I've started watching your videos, really, it's been ISOs a lot.
Okay, here's a suggestion. If you're in a situation like this and you can ask them to move, have them rotate, have her turn towards the light, the window, so then you'd have both of their faces in the light and have her not hidden.
Yeah.
Because usually you want the woman's the most important during a wedding, so you know, if they just rotated, you know, if she took a step closer to you and turned towards the window and then you moved your angle, Greg and I use the window light all the time during weddings, so that would have probably added to this picture.
Okay, yeah.
Just going to tell you on this that the watermark's got to go.
Yeah, the watermark was just a quick thing that I had in there when I was exporting that for you for this.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I would definitely just remember to they're not even that important these days in my mind. I think you want to try to limit watermarks as much as possible. Let your work, you know, let your work be what people see, cuz I'm starting to I put a ton of watermarks on everything for the past couple years, and now I'm starting to realize that it's not that big of a deal anymore. Yeah. You know, they'll see that it's on your page and that your name is in the other information. In terms of the moonshot, were you hand-holding this?
I was actually, yeah.
You know how I know?
How?
It's not sharp.
No, is it not?
No, I'm looking down at the craters near the bottom. You can see that it's not very there. It's not. It's the subtleness of just being out.
Right.
I mean, it's a moonshot. You know, it's nice. You filled the frame. Are you cropping it?
No, that was a filled frame.
Okay, so that was about a month ago when we had the big moon.
No, it was been about 6 months ago. Actually.
All right. Well, it's not. I mean, I like that it's not a full moon and it's a shot of a half moon. The color is interesting. I like the hue that you have chosen, but this is probably one where you'd want to be on your tripod to get the maximum sharpness, especially at night. But the moon is hard to expose for, and you obviously did a good job doing that.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Yep. All right, so you missed your exposure pretty bad here, right?
Right.
It was underexposed, and you tried to bring it back?
No.
No?
No, it was quite a good exposure, actually, if I remember rightly.
So how did we end up with such a muted, foggy, hazy image?
That was just the effect that I'd put on to make it kind of look old-fashioned. I was doing it for my dad ran a pub at this time.
Okay.
And I was doing it as a commercial shot for him, saying that he has a wide selection of wines and so on. And it was just kind of an old-fashioned place, so I added the old-fashioned effect sort of thing.
Okay. Again, with me and effects, I'm not a big effects fan, like I said. Did he like it?
Yeah, he didn't mind it. I don't know if he used this one, but I believe he used the black and white one.
Yeah, I was going to say, go black and white, pump up that contrast, and would make the bottle stand out, you know, be a little more solid.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's what I would suggest is going black and white on that.
All right, cool.
All right, what do we have? One more? This one I'll go to town on.
Yeah.
You were shooting fire?
Yeah.
And it's out of focus, right?
Well, I don't know if
it's hard to tell because it's moving.
Yeah, it was kind of a longish exposure of, well, a second or two, so...
I mean, it's not the worst thing in the world, but it all depends on what your use is. If this is something that's going to be used, I don't know, as a Photoshop element that you're going to throw into something else, then it's cool. Or if you had a person, like, blowing fire or something...
Yeah.
But what were you going for? Let me hear what you had to say. Maybe I'll change my mind.
Well, it was just I was just relaxing and I kind of saw the fire, and everyone always goes on about how they love these coal fires and everything like that.
Okay.
So I just thought, well, I'd try and get a nice picture out of it, but it was quite dark in the room, so the actual fire itself was quite dark and dingy.
Sure.
So I just kind of lowered it down a bit and trying to just get the fire and see what happened.
No, I mean it's interesting. It's interesting. You never know.
Yeah.
And the cool thing about photography is this could grab somebody's fancy and be like the coolest thing they've ever seen.
Yeah.
And it all depends on who's looking at it. So, I mean, exposure-wise, you did a great job getting the color, getting the flames going there. It's going to be more difficult to freeze something like that. But, you know, it's okay. It's not it's not the end of the world, you know?
To be fair, I haven't picked the best photos to show you, but, I mean, there was one or two of them that I quite liked.
That's okay. Yeah.
But, I mean, if you ever have a spare moment, I'll send you a link to a little website that I've got going, and that's got a few better ones on there.
Okay. All right, so I think that brings us to the end of the AdoramaPix.com rapid-fire critique, Liam. Thank you for doing this.
No problem. Thank you as well, Jad.
I'm going to see if they can hook you up with something cool to because I think they do ship overseas, so I just have to see what the shipping is for you, because they'll give you whatever you want, and then I guess all you're left to do is take care of shipping. But
all right, cool.
We'll see what they can do. I'll talk to them and see if they can throw you in some stuff. But yeah, so you guys know AdoramaPix.com does ship overseas. Should check that out and see what kind of shipping costs are involved, because I still love the hardback books, and I personally don't know what's over there in the UK. I don't know who does printing. But yeah, definitely check out their website, AdoramaPix.com. So remember this, when you're sending in photos to me to the Gmail account, it's FroKnowsPhoto@gmail.com. Send in your 10 best. Send in a link, usually to Flickr, which seems to be pretty easy and works well. Try to pick your 10 best. We'll go through them rapid fire. Well, not so rapid, but we'll go through them and give you the honest to truth opinion that we think. So, Liam, thank you very much.
Thank you, Jared, as well. It's been a pleasure.
No problem. Jared Polin, FroKnowsPhoto.com. See ya.